Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next movie review. Well, since I reviewed the first Joker, right? Now we get into the pointless sequel, I would say, which it is because to me, or to a lot of people, didn't need to ask for a sequel, you know. Joker 2, Folie de Deux, Folie de Deuce, whatever. You know, it's sad because I liked the first Joker. You know, the first Joker back in 2019 when I first saw it, it surprised me. I was skeptic at first, you know, really a solo Joker film, how would that work? Having the guy who directed the Hangover movies, really? Todd Phillips. Surprising. He did a good job directing the movie. Joaquin did a really good job as the Joker. And the film made over $1 billion worldwide. At the time was the highest grossing R-rated movie, you know. Yeah, because since the film makes over $1 billion, of course it would matter of time when a sequel needs to be talked about, though. But you know, the thing is, though, a lot of people did not need a sequel because there was a time even with Todd Phillips said, you know, he didn't want to, you know, but of course, you know, usually a lot of times, the studio does all the pressuring and all that stuff, though. I mean, this film, I think it was even Todd Phillips, and I think Joaquin had more creative control of doing the sequel more than the studio did. And that's the case. The blame is solely on both of them. I mean, the first film, because how it represented it in the movie. You know, the time of the early 80s, how society was, and the whole thing looking down, you know, with all these poor, like, especially with someone like Arthur Fleck, you know, which leads him to building up to be this figure, you know, and rise up, you know, and on who he's supposed to be. And everything in the first movie, it just did a total 180. It did. This film was a total 180 from of what the first movie was. I think that was a big mistake. And first of all, I think they did. Like I said, people did not need to ask for a sequel. Well, the film made money, so of course it's inevitably there's going to be a sequel, right? That's how usually what is with these films, you know. Joker 2, it sucked a lot when this film was coming out. A lot of people did not like the movie, and even some people who liked the first Joker film didn't like the film, and I don't blame them. I'm one of those people too. I did not like this film. To me, this film was so boring, and it was just pointless, useless, and ultimately it leads up to nothing. Now, yes, is this one of the worst ones I've seen this year? Yes, it is, but is it my top 5? Maybe. Because for there's films I've seen this year that were a whole lot worse and that pissed me off more. I mean, Alien Romulus pissed me off more. But there's other worse films I've seen. Madam Web. Of course, there was that film, Sasquatch Sunset. I mean, that's a film where you see a bunch of Sasquatches pissing, shitting on a road, or even milk-titting the road as well. I mean, do I need to say anything more than that? No. Okay. There was other worse films I've seen this year, like Night Swim, or I know there's other films there's a lot of bunch of films I've seen this year that's leaving my brain. I know it'll come to me if I think about it. But I know there's ones I've seen that were worse than this, you know. But by the time the end of this year, I'll probably have my list all, so maybe it'll be my top 5, if not, because there's films I've seen that were worse and that pissed me off more. So, but I'll get to those. Todd Phillips. So I don't know what happened. I mean, yeah, both you and Joaquin Phoenix I think you should just said no, and just leave the first film as it was. You know, it's true that you and Joaquin have more creative control of the studio, then you two are both entirely to blame. And as I said, and the film was over 2 hours, and it was 2 hours basically of nothingness. I mean, and the film bombed badly. The film cost $200 million compared to the first one, would have cost about $55 million. This one cost $200, and guess what? It failed in the U.S. and worldwide. It was another huge box office flop for Warner Brothers. Let alone from another DC, and also another DC film that flopped. What is it? Warner Brothers. I keep saying Warner Brothers is the studio, is the bomb studio. That's what it is, because Warner Brothers has more box office flops, let alone huge box office flops, than any other studio I've seen. I mean, hell, earlier another huge film that was from Warner Brothers that bombed badly, and that was Furiosa, the Mad Max spin-off, right? That was a huge flop. Because a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, where Chris Hemsworth, which he needs to just fire his agent, and he's to stop acting all goofy and funny. Anya Taylor-Joy, she wasn't Charlize Theron. I'd rather have seen whether another movie or a proper prequel was Charlize Theron, but not Anya Taylor-Joy. But that film was I didn't give a shit about, and that was a huge flop too. So, and it was also sad that this film was beaten out in the next weekend when it had a huge dip in its second weekend. It was beaten out by, kind of ironic, one clown was beaten by another clown, and that was Art the Clown in Terrifier 3. You know how fucking sad and pathetic that is when a low-budget horror slash film of Terrifier 3, Art the Clown, beats out the Clown Prince of Darkness. Well, he wasn't this in these Joker movies. That's when I tend to be, though, but still. But one clown beat another clown. And sadly, it made more in the U.S. than the actual this film did in the U.S. either. That's how fucking sad that is. Now, I'm not seeing Terrifier 3 yet, though, but that film was a huge hit, because fans really enjoyed those Terrifier movies. The third film came out, and it was a huge hit. It's sad when that film made more money and more of a profit than this actual film that cost. Well, Terrifier 3 cost like $2-3 million. Well, beat a bigger budget film that cost $200 fucking million. I don't know why I'm cursing so much, but it just comes out. So, but who cares? That's how sad that is. That's pathetic. And one of the things that people did not like about this film that they made to a musical, which, by the way, they didn't even use their own creative songs. They just took songs from other stuff, and added in here. But let's take, for example, Little Shop of Horrors. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of musical movies, but there are a couple of exceptions, so Little Shop of Horrors is one of them. I like Little Shop of Horrors. Little Shop of Horrors, Little Shop. I mean, that film had original songs. And also the fact their songs, the musical of their songs, was relevant to help moving the plot along. Here, it's like the film literally has to stop for a music point, and then keep on going. It didn't move the plot along. You just had to stop because you had to have a musical point. I think that's what a lot of people. I think that's what turned a lot of people off, because they didn't want to see a Joker movie as a musical. I think that's what turned a lot of people off and why people left the theater. Which I don't blame them, because the film didn't do well, because people left the theater because they saw the movie and they walked out. Thankfully, I did not see this in the theater because it was a waste of my time. So yeah, I'm 10 minutes in, because there's not much to talk about in this movie. There isn't much to talk about. Arthur's in jail, you know, and and you have Brendan Gleeson, who I like as an actor. Brendan Gleeson, who he was funny as the sheriff in Lake Placid. He was in 28 Days Later. I know he's in Smurfs too. I know that though, but of course, his role in what's that character's name with the googly eye in the Harry Potter movies. But I know Brendan Gleeson. He's been in other movies, but he's a good actor. You know, he's in this. He's a prison guard at the Arkham Asylum, and he was just annoying. You know, he was an annoying guard. You know, every time he has to ask Arthur or Joker, is like, "Hey, are you gonna make a joke? Are you gonna make a joke? Are you gonna make a joke?" So repetitive, and of course, later, which I'll have to get to though, but Brendan Gleeson, he's a good actor, but he was annoying in this. Steve Coogan, who played Phileas Fogg from the Disney remake of Around the World in 80 Days, he was also the director in Ben Stiller's Tropic Thunder. Of course, he was also Octavius in the Night at the Museum movies. He's in this as well as a guy who was interviewing Arthur Fleck. He appears in it quite a few times. He was there. And of course, the big thing, why people thought people thought the Top Phillips or whoever thought this was going to be a big hit, Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. Which I don't hate I don't hate Harley Quinn. I don't hate Lady Gaga. She was really good in the movie called A Star Is Born with Bradley Cooper. She was really good in that, and that was a good movie too. And it's cool. You also have Andrew Dice Clay in that. That was cool for him to see him in that movie. So I don't entirely hate Lady Gaga. I mean, there is a couple songs I did not mind if that was from her, you know. But I don't hate Lady Gaga. I mean, as an actress, I mean, she proved that she was good in A Star Is Born. Here, she was there, but thing is though, it's, you know, they try to flip the script on the relationship between Joker and Harley Quinn. You know how, and over the decades, whether it's the comics or in the TV shows, you know how this Joker has always been the dominant one to, you know, abusive relationship with Harley Quinn, you know, emotionally and abusively to her over, you know, whether you see in the TV shows or in the comics, right? And yeah, that the Harley Quinn still stuck around with him, but despite that, you know, all that. Here they flip it because, oh, now it's Harley Quinn. She's the dominant. She's more the aggressor, right? And Joker, he's just more of the fool, basically. She's more the aggressor than he is. You know, she's the one who's been more manipulative than he is. So, yeah, so they decided to flip that, and what it turned out. Oh, because I guess now what do you think it's PC? Because, oh, once again, instead of how women are more dominant than men and men are just stupid, right? You know, if that was the case, I'm tired of seeing that in movies because, yeah, there's times I like to see strong women in films. Yes, I do. You know, Ellen Ripley from Aliens. That's a prime example. Sarah Connor from Terminator. You know, or several other strong women. I've seen plenty of other strong women I've seen in freaking anime shows I've seen. So no, that's not sexist because I just named you some stuff, you know, like especially if it comes to the two iconic women characters in films. But the thing is, nowadays they wish to shove it in our faces, you know. Oh, it's basically men are smart, women are smarter, men are dumb, yada yada, you know. I know there was another that was a film that was a prime example, which I forgot though, which it was basically that, you know. I'm like, but that's basically what it is. Like, they flipped the whole thing that, oh, it's Harley Quinn. She's now more the manipulative and the aggressor than the Joker is. Because Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, they made this whole thing I know I'm gonna go over the place, but there's not much to talk about anyway. So it's like this whole thing where she set this thing on fire. Oh, her dad's dead, and it's like what Arthur in the first movie had his dreams, right? His visions, right, in his mind, like how he was visioning himself with Murray Franklin, Robert De Niro, how they were just like, oh, good, good buddies, or the whole thing he visioned in his head with their relationship with his neighbor Sophie, right? It was more she was more like envisioning that stuff with her relationship with Joker. And there's sort of a point where when they listen to he's in solitary confinement, and she's in there with him doing the thing, and then also later she tells her she's pregnant, which I don't think she was. She just said the thing. She kind of said all this stuff to manipulate him. How did she end up in that cell anyway? Because all this thing that was leading up into this, how did she end up in there anyway? Is what I mean, though. I mean, and the whole thing, the trailers and the advertising was like pointing that she was in this film a lot. She wasn't in it a whole lot, as they were advertising it, right, in the trailers and stuff, right? She wasn't in it a lot of the times than she appeared to be. And the whole time it was just basically, a lot of times it was this big courtroom drama, which, if I were to see a courtroom drama, I'd rather watch stuff like A Time to Kill, That was more suspenseful than this movie. I mean, the whole trial with Samuel Jackson for killing those guys who raped his daughter, and with Matthew McConaughey and Sandra Bullock, trying to prove his innocence. And of course the whole thing dealing with the whole the KKK and stuff, right? That was more suspenseful in that movie than I got with this movie. Oh, there was a point where I forgot to mention when Arthur was in jail. There was a point where Brendan Gleeson and I think it was a couple of other guards, they throw him in the showers, strip him down, and you probably kind of guess what happened next, right? Right? You can kind of guess what happened next when you're in a prison, when you get thrown into the showers. Oops! Oh, you dropped your bar of soap. You could probably put 2 and 2 together. So that's also why I need to see 2 as well, Yeah. That's just like, ugh. I mean, what the frick happened? What made the first film so good? It mind boggles me. What made the first film so good? What Todd Phillips was thinking, or Joaquin Phoenix was thinking, they decided just to do a 180 and to do the complete opposite. Buddy, that was a big mistake. I mean, Todd Phillips. We think this is supposed to be an artistic movie. I mean, no, Todd Phillips, please don't try to do this whole artistic thing. You directed the Hangover movies, and also, for to mention, you directed Old School as well, and let alone you also directed Due Date. Those type of comedy movies. What is this whole? Don't give me this whole artistic thing when you directed comedies like those. I mean, in the first one, you have Ken Jeong running around butt naked, showing everything, okay? And Mike Tyson punching someone out, Or Due Date, where you have Zach Galifianakis jacking off. And you have then Old School as well. So don't give me this whole artistic thing, whatever you're trying to go for, okay? Come on. And I forgot to mention that the whole court drama, like, everything's so boring about this movie. I mean, court drama, hell, the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial was more interesting than I got with this movie. Yeah, that's another sad and pathetic thing about that. That trial that just kept on going on for, like, forever, that was more interesting and more than a court trial than this movie was for this. Oh, and also Kathleen Keener, who plays Arthur Fleck's lawyer. Kathleen Keener, from starring in Get Out, who was the mother who did the whole T thing, the hypnotism, right? Or she was also I forgot to mention a while back. She was also the wife of Nicolas Cage in 8mm. That was a pretty good. That's another Nicolas Cage film. That's a damn good movie as well. I enjoy 8mm, and Kathleen Keener was good in that movie, and she was also good in Get Out. The whole thing. Now you're in the sunken place. So, and eventually, Joker fires her, and he has to he represents himself in the court. Oh, and I also mentioned, speaking of why this film would turn me off is also because the film opens with a Looney Tune cartoon. Yeah, a Looney Tune cartoon. Oh, another thing, and speaking of, with the Looney Tunes, which I'd rather seen that movie too. There was a whole thing where there was that Wile E. Coyote versus Acme movie where Wile E. Coyote goes to court and sues for selling him bad Acme products, and they scrapped that movie. However, that would have been a much better courtroom drama or whatever movie it was supposed to be. I'd rather watch that movie than this. You kind of find you think that's kind of ironic, a courtroom with a Looney Tune, and here you have a Looney Tune in the beginning of this movie, and then it turns into more of a courtroom movie too as well. I would like to seen that Wile E. Coyote versus Acme movie that they just shelved than watching a courtroom movie than I see in this. I kind of find that it's kind of very ironic, don't you think? I really want to see that. I mean, they scrapped that Batgirl movie, which I'm interested in seeing. Is hey, Brendan Fraser playing a villain? Okay, I would like to have seen that. It's not often you see Brendan Fraser playing a bad guy, But they shelved that. And instead, we got that shitty Blue Beetle or Flash movie, And then they shelved the Wile E. Coyote versus Acme movie, and we got this. Warner Brothers. I mean, yeah, there's sometimes the studios are usually the manipulative, studio interfering people they are, though. But sometimes it's more than that. Sometimes it's the directors and the actors, And since they both were the creative consultants on this, I bet you some of the budget went to paying those two guys. I guarantee it, So this whole courtroom was boring. Music was boring, and then the whole thing with Lady Gaga, the Harley Quinn. Oh, the whole thing. It was also a vision. She also envisioned, she didn't burn anything down. Her father is alive, right? She was just saying that she was pregnant because she was trying to manipulate Joker, and just visioning with herself with them singing together on the stage, and then one thing leads to another, Towards the end, these scene. Just skipping it, just Arthur, he doesn't want to be Joker anymore, and then eventually he dies. This guy comes up to him, stabs him, then the guy walks away laughing, he does this. Oh wait, he's the actual Joker, because Arthur Fleck is not the real Joker, right? No, that's supposed to be the real Joker. It's not like we're not going to get no Batman movie in this universe anyway, so. Pfft. Well, the first film you didn't need no Batman. Yeah, you had Bruce Wayne in it, but you didn't need a Batman in it. And like I said, the whole thing, just how the build-up of Arthur Fleck, how so much he took, and just his fall and this rise to become a star. Well, not the star he wanted to be, though, but this star that people saw him as. His rising up, against this, what's wrong with society of today, you know, and it wasn't the heroic star he wanted to be, though, but that's what became of him, you know, which was a great build-up in the first movie. Here, it was just, listen, everything that was good in the first movie, it was a total 180, like I said. I don't know what Todd Phillips or Joaquin Phoenix were thinking, you know? I have no idea. So the blame is basically put on both of them. Well, yeah, Warner Brothers too, though, but just like for saying yes to this crap. Well, I'm screwed. All three are all to blame. They should have just said no altogether. Let the first how it was, but no. When it comes to making sequels, they're always so relentless about making sequels until they fail. You know. Well, I can't say that because they do that, and sometimes these films are successful. Sometimes, I mean, Alien Romulus, which I hate, that pissed me off more. That film made a lot of money. It goes to show what do I know, right? But that film pissed me off more. So, I mean, just one more. I don't know what I can say about it. Just like, it was such a boring movie. It did not need to be made. Like, so the films I've seen, like, yes, there are films I've seen that were worse. I mean, the second Beetlejuice movie, Beetlejuice, I did not like. Or I recently also reviewed a while ago, The Front Room from A24. Surprise, surprise there, you know. Yeah, Beetlejuice, Front Room, Madam Web, Night Swim, Sasquatch Sunset. I know there's more. I just can't remember because my head is all in a jumbled mess right now from this. So, but this is another one I could put on the list though. Folie, Deuce, you know, whatever. Boring. It's basically like I say boring. You know, just completely just took everything that was good in the first movie, like I said, and just tied it in a knot and threw it right into the shredder. So, I don't know what I can say about it. It's just like Courtroom. I've seen better ones. Like a few Good Men was a better courtroom movie. You know, you can't handle the truth. Or My Cousin Vinny. That's another one. Yeah, My Cousin Vinny. It's more funnier, but it was a better courtroom movie than this movie. You know, because I enjoy Joe Pesci. You know. I mean, a Time to Kill? I'd rather see that Wile E. Coyote versus Acme movie, you know? But anyway. I don't know why, but it's sad, like, a film like Terrifier 3 made more money. Yeah, not worldwide, but still, like, in the U.S. In the U.S., Terrifier 3 made more money than this movie, and that's sad and pathetic. One clown beat the other clown. It is like from a low budget slash film from a film like this that cost $200 million. Well, chalk one up, another one for Warner Brothers, another huge box office flop from them. Once again, no surprise there. So anyway, to Todd Phillips, you dumbass. You made a good movie, which you kind of lucked out on though, but. You made a good movie from the first Joker, and then all of a sudden you just threw it in the trash. And Joaquin Phoenix, you were good in the first Joker. You share the same burn with Todd Phillips. Same thing. Both of you took the good, but the first movie threw it away. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Later.